to permanent madness or suicide. If you can damage a person's mind, they can't take you to court because all you've got to say is they're mad.
Yeah. And they lose all their basic human rights.
They lose all their human rights. They lose all their credibility. So if you can actually damage somebody's mind, all you've got to say is, well, look, they're totally bonkers. You know, they're going to say anything they want. So, I mean, the purpose will be to damage somebody so they can't take you to court.
Would you like to comment on the Barry Trower interview, Stephen?
Yeah, sure, but what Mr. Trower actually says is exactly what we are reading from this article, and the same as you hear about in MK Ultra, just not... but these, what Mr. Trower was saying, that when these drugs were being used on people, it was always by psychiatrists or psychologists.
On behalf of Icaact, I want to thank United We Win and Wolf Spirit Radio for giving us the monthly radio hour here. And I want to read out a little text. Don't buy, don't comply, ask why. What that means for a European is that at least we do have the choice to make up our own minds whether or not we want to eat genocidal food that contains GMO by Monsanto and other biotech companies. In Europe, it's still law that any food that contains GMO has to be labeled as such. So as a consumer, we can make up our own minds. And that is in spite of the fact that the WikiLeaks cables revealed that American ambassadors and politicians are threatening European countries with extreme retaliations if they don't comply to the tyranny and the genocide of Monsanto. I'm very pleased to announce that we have another guest for today, and his name is Philip. He is also a Danish citizen, among other citizenships. Welcome to the show, Philip.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I know you have a very, very interesting story, and it sounds like a Hollywood thriller, actually.
Yeah.
The account I heard. So, and we would very much like to hear your account of how it started for you, how it ended up. I know you have several citizenships, and you've basically been chased around Europe.
Yeah.
So, could you tell us how it all started for you, and tell us about your story, as what you feel to tell?
Sure. Well, it all happened in France. I was working as a security officer, and everything went okay. Besides one night when something happened. It was like a small crime committed at my job, and then they had they were just looking for who was working that night, who saw something. They convoked me to a police office with some other workers from the hotel, and they didn't find out what happened that night. 3 months later, I picked up my phone. I spoke to a friend, and I started to hear a voice in my phone. I thought it was in my phone, which it wasn't. Actually, what I found out later on was an implant. What happened is I started to hear voices all the time. I started to get very upset, and very stressed also. I thought I had a microphone on my clothes or in my car or in my phone. So I started to switch off my phone, and it didn't work. So I got really upset, and I got to the police station immediately and told them that I had microphones and cameras everywhere, because I had voices telling me all the time what I was doing. Like every time I was taking a shower, going to the restroom, they had their stupid comments, and that's how it started. And the police told me that they didn't know anything about it. I could feel in my body all those waves, all those electromagnetic waves. And after some days, I got fired from my job. I don't know. I don't even know the reason. I had no job. I was a bodybuilder. I was working at a gym. What I remember is when I went to the gym, some people, like those voices in my head talking to me, they were telling me that I'm being recruited by the French secret services, and I was going to work for them because I speak all those languages. And I really thought that was a recruitment. That's what they pretended, but it wasn't. But I thought it was a recruitment for like more than almost 2 months. Like people at the gym that I knew from far away, they spoke about me. They said this guy is about to be recruited by the French secret services. Then there was that girl that she really wanted me. My perpetrators, they made me think that she was going to be raped one night. They told me where she was and who she was. And I went to the police station at 2 o'clock at night. So they got me nervous. I really thought that she was in danger. So I wanted to tell the police about it. They told me that everything was okay. They have nothing about her on the computer, that they don't know who it is and stuff like that. So I just left the police station in Nice, in the south of France. Everywhere where I was going, they either had a couple of security agent, or I don't know how they call it, like secret agents everywhere. And when I was driving with my car, they made fake accidents happen in front of me. They harassed me during my driving. They told me that I had to recognize some agents in the streets, some secret agents. I had to just walk around and recognize secret agent everywhere. They say I could spend my money because I was going to become rich. I was going to become a rich man because I'm being recruited, and I was going to become a diplomat. They told that my dad's ancestors were Saudi Arabians, and the Saudi Arabians wanted me to work for them. They used what they called a Saudi agent, Israeli agent from the Mossad, American from the CIA, of course French agent, also Russians and Danes. They were just everywhere. That's what they told me. They even brought a woman from the U.S. They told me that she was a Syrian Jew, that she was okay to get married with me if I worked for the Mossad. Told me that I was going to work for the Mossad, for the French, for the Saudi Arabians, for the Brits, and for the American secret services. You don't talk to people because they got implants on your nerves. They make you scared. They play with your emotions and stuff like that. So you don't get really to talk to other people. At least in the beginning, in the first month or the second month, you don't get to talk to people. You get isolated, and they hypnotize you with that little voice. They make you do all kind of things. My dad, I was living with my dad. My dad was disabled. He's mentally disabled because he had a stroke. He can't communicate with people, and he didn't understand what was going on. He thought that I was crazy. That I got tortured every night. Sleeping in my bed. They didn't even let me sleep so much. I was only sleeping a couple of hours every night. It started in March 2011 when I was in June 2011. I went to the Secret Services in Paris. I took the train because the first airplane ticket that I bought, they made me sleep, so I missed my plane. So I had to get on a train, a TGV, a fast French train, and I went to Paris. I went to Secret Services, to the DGSE, and they told me, those are not our methods. That's what he told me. Then I went to the other Secret Service, which is the Interior Secret Service of France. And they asked me who I was. They asked me where I was coming from. I told them I was coming from Nice. I didn't have any money. I was already broke at that time. He told me, if you need some money, I'll give you some money. He gave me 300 euros for the hotel. And he told me that he was going to call me back, which he didn't do. I went back to Nice. And then in October, what happened is that I saw on the newspaper that President Sarkozy, which was the president at that time, was about to come and visit Nice. So